You ever find yourself just scrolling through your phone and you just stop and wonder, how in the world is this app even built?
I mean, think about it. From ordering food to catching up with friends, these little icons on our screens are a huge part of our lives. But how do they go from just a spark of an idea to a real working app right there in your pocket? Well, probably the best way to wrap your head around it is to imagine building a massive skyscraper. Seriously, it's this giant project, right? It's got all these different phases. You've got the big idea, then the super detailed blueprint, you need the construction crew, and of course, all the utilities to make it work. And believe it or not, that's exactly how we're going to break down app development today. Okay, so first things first. Before anyone even thinks about breaking ground, you have to know what you're building, right? And every single great app, just like every famous skyscraper, it all starts with one single powerful idea. The official term for this whole process? It's mobile application development, or MAD for short. And it really is a craft. It's the art and science of building the software that makes our phones so incredibly useful. Now think about it. Not all buildings are created equal, are they? You've got these incredible one-of-a-kind towers, and then you have more modular, almost prefab structures, and it's pretty much the same deal with apps. So first up, you have what are called native apps. These are your bespoke, custom-designed skyscrapers. They're built from the ground up for just one platform, either Android or iOS. And because they're custom-built, they are incredibly fast and smooth. Then, on the other side, you've got hybrid apps. These are kind of like those modular buildings. They use some prefabricated parts, mixing web tech with native code, which lets them work across different platforms. Super flexible. All right, so you've picked your type of building. What's next? Well, you can't just grab a shovel and start digging, right? No way. You need a blueprint, a really detailed one. And in the world of Android, that blueprint is what we call its architecture. See, every skyscraper is built layer by layer from the ground up, and an Android app is exactly the same. At the very bottom, you've got the foundation. That's the Linux kernel. This is the bedrock, the part that's literally talking to the phone's hardware. On top of that, you build the framework. Think of this as the steel skeleton. It provides all the essential tools and structure. Then comes the infrastructure. This is all the wiring, the plumbing, the elevators, the APIs that let the app use your camera or find your location. And only then, sitting on top of all of that, do you get the final building, the app that you actually see and use every day. Okay, blueprint's done, it's approved. Now it's time for the really exciting part, construction. This is the stuff that you, the user, actually get to see and touch. We're talking about the user interface. So let's stick with our skyscraper analogy. The user interface is basically like furnishing all the rooms. And every single thing you tap, swipe, or look at is what developers call a widget. That text you're reading on the screen? That's a text view. The pictures in your feed? Image view. That little box where you type your message? Yep, that's an edit text. And that like button you can't resist tapping? That's a button widget. These are literally the building blocks of your entire experience. Now, here's where things get really cool. In the Android universe, every single screen you look at has a name. It's called an activity. And what's wild is that every activity has a life of its own, a life cycle. It all kicks off the second you tap that app icon. Boom. That's on Create. It's like turning the key in the ignition. The app is literally being born inside your phone's memory. A split second after that, you hit on Start. The doors to the building swing open, and the app becomes visible on your screen. And right after that, Resume. Now you've walked inside. The app is front and center, ready for you to interact with it. But what happens if you get a text message or a call interrupts you? Does the app just die? Nope. It just enters on pause or on stop. It's still there, just waiting patiently in the background for you to come back. Okay, so our skyscraper is built, it's all furnished, but it's just an empty shell without power, water, and an internet connection, right? An app is no different. It absolutely needs data and connectivity to be useful. So let's talk about how we power this thing up. So where does an app keep all its stuff? Well, it's got a few different storage closets, you could say. For tiny things like your user settings, it uses something called shared preferences. For bigger files, think about your downloaded Spotify playlists or the photos you edit, it uses internal or external storage. And for really organized information, like your entire contact list, it uses a proper database called SQLite. But what about brand new information? Like, how does Instagram get new posts for your feed? For that, apps have to connect to the outside world. to the internet. And they do that using something called a REST API. You can literally think of it as plugging our entire skyscraper into the global power grid, just getting this constant stream of fresh data. And there you have it. Our skyscraper is built, it's powered up, it's fully operational. But you know architects, they're never satisfied. They're always dreaming up the next, even more amazing building. And the skyline of the app world, it is constantly changing too. And the future looks absolutely wild. We're talking 5G networks making apps unbelievably fast, artificial intelligence making them smarter, almost predictive. You've got augmented and virtual reality that are going to build entire new worlds right inside our phones. And then there's the Internet of Things, connecting our apps to literally everything from our watches to our refrigerators. But, after all of this, all the complexity, the layers of architecture, the code, the future of AI, it is so important to remember that every single one of these incredible apps, it all boils down to just one thing. It all starts with one idea and one blueprint. That's it. That is the seed for everything we've just explored. The next truly game-changing app, the one that's going to completely redefine that future skyline, it's already out there. It exists right now, just as a blueprint in someone's head, maybe even yours. So really, the only question left to ask is, what will you build?